Hello, fellow Tinkers. Here on the first match of the all-new AMX 30B2 FORAD, and this is the Ultimate Season Pass tank. And in all honesty, if you're still on the fence about the Ultimate Season Pass, and you have the silver or gold, I would definitely recommend it. You get like 5 tanks. The Bellerophon alone is pretty much worth it. The AMX 30B2 FORAD is very similar to um, Leopards, so I was very eager to get it. I got the Ultimate Season Pass in a giveaway. Thanks, Tikana, for what that's worth. I'm setting this up just like I do the Leopard tanks that I have, and that is for concealability. And unfortunately, this first match, like so many of my other matches, because of poor matchmaker, means the FORAD is found on road absolutely dead for me. Kind of like a Ford. So my opinion of this is one of I'm being hurt a lot in this tank. It is not been an enjoyable experience. I don't mind the heat rounds. I'm used to the M113, the M50, so heat round is standard. Just means you have to aim a bit more and also pray a little harder. I guess with every shot. But with that said, it's the main downside is it's a medium tank, kind of lost now in the growing sea of medium tanks in Era 2. Wargaming, can we have, I don't know, a premium tank destroyer? Let's get another one of those. That'd be nice. Uh, Maybe come across another heavy, maybe? I don't know. Well, we've got a few heavies. Maybe a light tank? Uh, Something other than a medium. There's a lot of mediums in Era 2, which if you're not in a medium and say in like an M113 or the M50 or of course like the much preferable WZ-122 to the FORAD here, yeah, it's kind of like this is just more cannon fodder for other tanks. But I have seen the stats, these screenshots, and fan streams of other tankers having really great matches. But like I said, for me, this tank and really bad matchmaking, where in all honesty, after the season's been out for over a week now, almost 2 weeks, I've had one good match where we lost, but at least the enemy team was left with 4. It's been kind of one of those scenarios where if we do have a victorious match, I'm lucky to come in at 10th. It's like, okay, we did too well where all the tanks survived and only the handful at the front of the pack got the most damage and some of the kills. And remember, for those who are new, you want more damage. That's where the XP is, not with kills. So keep that in mind for you newbies. The autocannon is an I compared it earlier to the WZ-122, and that's really its main competition. And yeah, I've seen, and I know it's been now probably beaten to death in all other reviews. Please don't use the autocannon when you're shooting across the map. You will not pen. If you want to hopefully pen a tank, or vehicle, I should say, from across the map, your main target should be the BMP 1 and 2, the M113, or the Object 120 tank destroyer. I know it looks big, but the armor is weak, and if the autocannon on the BMP2 can penetrate from across the map, something I have experienced on several occasions, well, not several, a couple occasions, but it was one of those moments where like, oh my god, you're just a glass cannon, which the FORAD is also. So, with that said, just go with premium. It's a premium tank, and if you have premium time, you should still be able to make out with some silver at the end of the match, especially if you're going to be shooting from across the map. The autocannon up close and personal from the front is still questionable, definitely from the rear. that is from sides and obviously from directly from the rear of any other tank, you should effectively, do more than pucker their behind. This has also led me to realize that a lot more tankers are going to be getting, most block damage in a game now, which is something that previously could only be achieved by taking on someone with a BMP2 and just laying into them from the front and just bouncing every round. It's usually after a match where I've had that happen with a BMP2 and now the FORAD. It's like, haha, I've blocked almost 3,000 damage, and I just took on a BMP2, and now the FORAD. I do realize that the autocannon is placed on the left side, so the right side if you're facing the tank. So we'll try to keep more to your left when taking on this tank, so at least you can avoid the autocannon. Hopefully it'll not have the chance to do any sort of tracking damage or module damage. Well, that said, yeah, this match was extremely frustrating. It was one of those, it was unexpected where both teams actually encountered each other for the most part. I just feel it's hard to tell even now, but because I just feel bad matchmaking, and sometimes you go, why do I feel like most of my team shots didn't pen? You can say shame on me for using heat and when we're taking an enemy team head on with all that armor, but ultimately this was one of those, I don't know why we're losing, but we are. I can only assume there were just more competent players on the other team that were able to, from the head on, find the more weak gaps in the armor. So here I am not where I actually initially wanted to be. I wanted to take up a position at a certain point and let my team pass by so I could bring up the rear. Did not expect for the main encounter of this match to take place so soon and with such heavy opposition. And I realized that at least the WZ-122 I can pen. However, we seem to have the low ground. I think that was also something that worked against us for the most part. I still can't really fully explain how this will end up in a loss, but it does, which became kind of the pattern. I can only assume the matchmakers just being real obnoxious is because it's a new season, so everyone is back to playing tanks, and that's why we're getting more and more lopsided. Well, for me, it's been lopsided for the most part, and it's been annoying. This, especially when it's like 3 losses and then suddenly you have a crushing defeat where only one of your team's tank has been destroyed. It's too much of a too much of a scramble to get all that damage. And with this tank, again, with it's the ATGMs, just like with Leopard you fear. From the front though, I do feel that even the AMX 30 here, B2 FORAD, I'm pretty sure I gotta start referring this to FORAD because at some point the French tanks will be coming, but I've noticed sometimes it seems Wargaming will introduce an all brand new, will be a nation's tank and a premium tank, and then you was like, oh, so this season you will get that tank line. Sometimes, especially when it comes to Cold War, it's like, here's a new premium tank for a nation we don't have yet in the game. Here's the introductory, and then next season, or maybe the season after, you'll get that tank line. Sometimes it feels like Wargaming is just giving what they can piecemeal. And here I am, match is over. Not quite found on road destroyed because I made it to the very end, but yeah, if you could pass this up unless at any other time but the Ultimate Season Pass, it can work. I just wish the matchmaker would let me work this tank. So I wish everyone good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope the RNG is in your favor and you keep your tracks on the ground. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.